Well, good morning folks, and welcome to another review of a scenery product for Flight Simulator 2020. My name's Lee, this is your virtual airline pilot, back with you again for another in-depth review. A slight change of plan this week. I was going to look at Pisa, and possibly I still hope to, depends if I get time to put that review in this week. But INIBUILDS very kindly sent me a copy of their Los Angeles scenery. There have been a couple of video reviews put up by one or two content creators this week so far on YouTube. This video will reflect my view and will possibly be a little bit more in-depth and therefore possibly longer, but I will put timestamps in the description so you can go to look at things that you really want to look at and not have to sit through the whole thing. However, as I said, we're in the United States, in California, Southern California. This is Los Angeles International Airport, Kilo Lima Alpha X-Ray. It's a payware scenery by the INIBUILDS team. We're looking at version 1.01 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. There was an update released about a day and a half ago, I think it was, from version 1, and I'll list the changes for you. So this is version 1.01. No mention anywhere in any of the descriptive text that I can find as to whether they're going to release this for Xbox, so I can't say that. The download is 2.5 gigs and it installs at 5.7 gigabytes. So it's a fairly large installation, but then as you can see from this shot, the airport is massive. I've been to Los Angeles many times myself. My ex-wife works for the airlines, and we flew out to LA and drove up to Las Vegas many times on vacation. So I know the airport pretty well. We used to fly with British Airways in and out of here quite a lot in the 747s. So I know LAX, as it's known, or LAX, pretty well. The other thing to mention is you need to disable the Asobo default Los Angeles. It's quite easy. You go into the content manager, just do a search on KLAX and it'll bring up Asobo. Just simply hit delete and it will remove the default Asobo scenery. I've seen posts where some people didn't know that, and to be honest there's no mention of it anywhere that I can see other than on some forum notes from various members. People have discovered that once they've disabled the default Asobo, this INIBUILDS run are so much better, and I have to say I agree with that. So make sure you disable the default Asobo KLAX in the simulation when you install this. So price, okay, it's £19.99 UK, which equates to €22.93 or $22.89 US. Now the US and Euro prices are estimates and do not include VAT or tax, which of course may vary depending on your country of purchase. I live in the UK, so the price I saw on the INIBUILDS website was in pounds, so that's the price I would have purchased it in. And it's available from INIBUILDS. It's also available from Sim Market, and to be honest, the INIBUILDS price, in my opinion, when I looked at the conversions, is slightly cheaper, not by much, but it is cheaper. And you may decide to buy it directly from their website, or maybe you're one of these people who prefers to shop at Sim Market entirely. I mean, I have to admit I do something like 80% of shopping at Sim Market when I buy products, but I also have a huge Orbix library, Airsoft 1 library, and now I'm starting to get several from INIBUILDS as well. So really it depends on your preference, but the prices work out very slightly cheaper at the INIBUILDS website directly. So let's give you a quick full list of the features. So handmade ground textures with crisp bespoke texture sets, runways, aprons, paths and roads. True to life airport landside recreation with custom ground decals, signposts, vegetation, parking barriers and much more. Accurately modelled and positioned dynamic airport lighting, hand-placed high-definition vegetation, signage, ground clutter, vehicles, handling objects. Bespoke taxi signage as it is in the real world. Highly detailed models of all airport buildings, objects and surroundings. Detailed yet optimised custom interior model for the Tom Bradley terminal and parallax effects for all the other terminals. Use of the latest MSFS SDK features to allow for the best optimization and performance possible. Custom-built jetways with realistic variations using PBR texturing and animations, including gate number toppers, accurate logos, real-world decals and advertisements scattered through the airport to promote the true lifelike feeling. Hand-placed airline-specific bespoke ground service equipment placed accurately at each gate terminal, featuring hundreds of containers and dollies. Level of detail optimization for every model to encourage best performance possible. And you've got the visual docking guidance system, or VDGS, installed as well. Now that's the list of features that they've got in the scenery. A very quickly update to version 1.01. The updates including a missing jetway at gate 80, jetway connection alignment at gate 159, there was an issue there. Level of detail 1/2 geometry issues on the Tom Bradley International main terminal. And lastly, they removed the existing runway profiles, terraforming, and replaced with a simple slope. This has tried to resolve the issue of PG tearing. Not sure what PG is, but some people will know what that is. So as you can see, it's a huge project, and looking at these shots here from above, you can see how well they fit into the default profile of the recently updated scenery for this area. It's a massive airport. There are frame issues, but not by much. You can sort of turn the level of detail down and still have an amazing airport with lots of stuff. So as ever, let's get to some history. There's quite a bit here, but I'll try and get through it fairly quickly, and obviously if you're not interested of it, you can move forward past it. But I know there are people that are interested in the history behind some of these airports, so let's get started with that. So the history for you. Los Angeles International Airport, KLAX, often referred to as just LAX, with each letter being pronounced individually, in other words LAX, is a public use airport owned and operated by Los Angeles World Airports, or LAWA, part of the Los Angeles city government, which also operates Van Nuys Airport for general aviation. The airport covers over 3,500 acres, or 1,400 hectares of land, and is the primary international airport serving the city of Los Angeles and the surrounding metropolitan area. LAX is located in Westchester County area of Los Angeles, some 18 miles or 30 kilometers southwest of downtown Los Angeles, with commercial and residential areas of Westchester to the north, the city of El Segundo to the south, and the city of Inglewood to the east. In 2019, LAX handled over 88 million passengers, making it the world's third busiest and the United States' second busiest airport, following Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta Airport in Georgia. As the largest and busiest international airport on the US West Coast, LAX is a major international gateway to the United States and also serves as a connection or transit point for passengers traveling to the East and Southeast Asia, Australasia, Mexico and Central America. LAX is also the only airport to rank among the top 5 US airports for both passenger and cargo traffic. LAX serves as a major hub or focus city for more passenger airlines than any other airport in the United States. And although LAX is the busiest airport in Greater Los Angeles area, the area is served by several other airports, including Hollywood Burbank, John Wayne Airport in Orange County, Long Beach Airport, Ontario International Airport, and San Bernardino International Airport. They also serve this region. In 1926, Los Angeles City Council and the Chamber of Commerce recognized the need for the city to have its own airport to tap into the fledgling but quickly growing aviation industry. Several locations were considered, but the final choice was a 640-acre or 260-hectare field in the southern part of Westchester County. In August 1928, the city leased the land, and the newly formed Department of Airports began converting the fields, once used to grow wheat, barley and lima beans, into dirt landing strips. The airport opened on the 1st of October 1928, and the first structure, Hangar Number 1, was erected in 1929. The building still stands at the airport, remaining in active use, and is listed on America's National Register of Historic Places. Over the next year, the dirt runway was replaced with an all-weather service, and more hangars, a restaurant and a control tower were built. In June 1930, the facility was dedicated and renamed Los Angeles Municipal Airport. After the end of World War II, 4 temporary terminals were quickly erected on the north side of the airport, and in December of 1946, American Airlines, Trans World Airlines and United Airlines, Southwest Airways and Western Airlines began passenger operations at the airport, with Pan American Airways, also known as Pan Am, joining the following month. In 1949, the airport was renamed Los Angeles International Airport. A major expansion came in the early 1980s ahead of the 1984 Summer Olympic Games. In November 1983, a second-level roadway was added, Terminal 1 opened in January of '84, and the Tom Bradley International Terminal opened in June the same year. The original terminals also received expansions and updates in the 1980s. Since 2008, the airport has been undergoing more serious expansion. All of the terminals are being refurbished, and the Tom Bradley International Terminal was completely rebuilt, with a West Gates Concourse added. Outside of the terminal area, 4,300 stall parking structure, a Los Angeles Metro rail station and a consolidated car rental facility are also being built. All will be connected to the terminal area by a LAX automated people mover. In the near future, airport managers plan to build 2 more terminals, Terminal 0 and Terminal 9. Altogether, these projects are expected to cost something like $14 billion and bring LAX's total gates from 146 to 182. A little trivia for you. Before the 1930s, US airports used the 2-letter abbreviation, and at the time, LA served as the designation for Los Angeles Airport. With the rapid growth of the aviation industry, in 1947 the identifiers expanded to 3 letters, and the LA received an extra letter to become LAX. The letter X does not otherwise have any specific meaning in this identifier. LAX is also used for the Port of Los Angeles in San Pedro and by Amtrak for Union Station in downtown Los Angeles. Along with LAX's iconic control tower structure, the popular theme building, sometimes referred to as the Spider, houses what used to be the Encounter restaurant, which closed its doors in December 2013, although the building's observation level is still open on weekends. And here you can see the theme building, the restaurant's underneath there. Closure was apparently attributed to people not wanting to sit waiting outside and then have to go through security in order to get through again, and so the amount of traffic that the restaurant had sort of diminished. Here's the iconic control tower, huge built structure, which does have internal modelling, and we'll look at that as time goes on. So there's some history for you. Really, seriously, quite a lot of work has gone into this place since it was first built on essentially sort of reclaimed land. So let's now have a look at the runways. We'll lower the light down and have a look at the runways. Los Angeles has 4 runways, or 8 landing and takeoff directions, and they're all used. So let's have a look at those in the low light. Okay, so we've lowered the light now. It's just after 6:15 in the evening, local time in the summer. This is October 2022. So currently we're looking down the throat of runway 06 left, 24 right. That's this one here. Los Angeles International Airport operates 4 main runways, 2 to the north of the terminal complex and 2 to the south of it. Here are the 2 to the north, that's the north there. There's the terminal complex, and you can just make out the 2 other runways to the south. This gives 8 operating runway directions, all being fully used. The runways are all made of concrete, and the airport lies at an elevation of 128 feet, or 39 meters. Now, the prevailing runway direction used at Los Angeles is to the west. We're looking east, but normally it would be 24 and 25, 24 and 25 here that would be in use, subject to the weather. In the early mornings, generally we see 06 and 07 in use, but predominantly aircraft arriving from Europe Typically get in around midday, early afternoon. I know coming in with British Airways we used to land at about 3:30 in the afternoon local time, and pretty much all of the landing directions were westerly, in other words coming this way towards us. So we'll start with runway 06 left 24 right, which we're looking down now. It's the northernmost runway, measuring 8,926 feet or 2,721 meters. Runway 06 left features a standard instrument landing system, medium intensity approach lighting system, and precision approach path indicators on the runway left side, which you can see here. While the other end, 24 right, also has a standard instrument landing system, airfield lighting system with sequence flashing lights, and precision approach path indicators again on the left side of the runway. RNAV approach options are available for both ends. So what you can see here is we have the sequence flashing lights, and actually we have them on all 8 runway approach ends. So they've actually exceeded what the charts have. Many of the runways have MASLARs, medium intensity lighting, and 1 or 2 of them have the approach light with sequence flashing lights according to the latest charts. But here in the simulation, INIBUILDS have chosen to model ASLEV lighting on all 8 runway approach options, which is really not a problem for me at all. Everything else exists as it should be: centerline lighting, PAPI's, runway end identifier lights, and here you've got the display threshold zone for 06 right. So let's pop up the other end and have a quick look at 24 right before we leave this runway. So here we are looking down the other end, runway 24 right, it's the northernmost of the 2 northern runways, and here you can see we've got approach lighting with sequence flashing lights, centerline lighting there, touchdown zone lighting. We have it pretty much all. All 8 landing directions are ILS equipped, so you have an ILS approach, standard Cat 1 ILS on all of the runways. Runway 24 left 06 right, and we're looking down the throat of 24 left now, measures 10,885 feet or 3,318 meters, and is located just to the south, as you can see, of the runway we just looked at. Both ends of the runway feature a standard instrument landing system, as I've already said, and they both have the medium intensity approach lighting system and precision approach path indicators. However, as I've said, they've all been equipped with approach sequence lighting instead of the medium approach ones. 06 right, up at the other end, the PAPI's are on the left side here, whilst on 24 left they're on the right side, and again we have a displaced threshold. So these are pretty much the runways are pretty much as per the approach charts, with the exception that INIBUILDS have chosen to model sequence lighting on all 8 ends. So let's look at the 2 runways that are south of the main terminal complex. Here's the main terminal complex. We're now looking down the throat of runway 25 right. 25 right and 24 right are the runways used for landing mostly when the westerly standard operations are in use. Generally you'll land on 24 right and then have to wait to cross the 24 left departure runway to taxi in this side, or you'll land on 25 right and taxi off, and we get departures on 25 left. So runway 25 right 07 left measures 12,923 feet or 3,939 meters and is located just south of the main terminal complex. Both ends of the runway 07 left and 25 right feature a standard ILS as we've discussed, and the chart says medium intensity approach lighting system and precision approach path indicators on the left side. So you can see the path indicator here on the left side, but as I've stated, we've got approach sequence flashing lights. You've got RNAV approach options available for all runways here as well. Let's have a quick look at 07 left, the other end. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 07 left here towards the east, and of course you can see everything as per the charts, with the exception of the sequence lighting instead of the MASLAR lighting. Again, a big displaced threshold here, and you've got the PAPI's on the left side. Here's runway 07 right 25 left. which measures 11,095 feet or 3,382 meters and is the southernmost located runway. Again, both ends feature a standard instrument landing system with precision approach path indicators. And as I've said, all of these runways have both ILS and RNAV approach options should they need to be used. So that about does it for runways. As I've said, Los Angeles typically normally operates western approaches during the afternoon and evening. So for example, landings will come in on 25 right or 24 right, and departures will happen on 25 left here or 24 left. In the early mornings, generally runway 06 and 7 are used the opposite direction. So that about does it for runways. Let's have a look at jetways next, and one or two anomalies that I've discovered when you're spawning aircraft onto a stand with regard to jetways and their positioning. Okay, jetways. So before we do a proper jetway test on a stand where hopefully this will work, I just want to point out a couple of anomalies here. So here we are on stand 30B on the rear of the other end of the Tom Bradley terminal. Attempted to do a jetway test, and this is what happened. As you can see, it's gone right the way through and essentially cut through the skin of the aircraft. The other thing you've got to watch out for, where this is basically I simply spawned from the menu onto this stand, and as you can see, wingtip clearance isn't good either. So that's, you know, that's pretty tough. Let's also show you what it's like on another stand. If I move this aircraft to 133, which is essentially across the way. So here we are parked on stand 133, which is directly opposite the stand I was on a moment ago. There's 30B with a static on it now, and I've just moved the aircraft opposite onto stand 133, which is right on the Tom Bradley terminal. So this is the anomaly I wanted to point out to you. Obviously I've just gone out to the menu and I've just simply spawned into stand 133 from the main menu, and it's positioned the aircraft, and as you can see, the wing is literally right touching this jetway. Well, let's try the jetway anyway and see what happens. Okay, so the front jetway moves. And that links quite nicely. Don't really see a problem there. Let's have a look from another angle. That all looks good. As you can see from this shot, when you spawn onto this position in LAX, the aircraft doesn't spawn to the right positioning place. Here's the A320 marker, and here we're looking at a A330 or a Boeing 767-300 or a Boeing 757-200. And then further up here you've got the 380s and the 787s and the 747s. So actually this aircraft, the nose wheel should spawn here, but it doesn't. And if we look at this image, as you can see here, if this nose wheel was here, that wing would be clear of the second jetway. So there's a problem here with the way that the Asobo default program detects the stand location at the new INIBUILDS airport. Don't know whether it's something that INIBUILDS can look at, but as you can see, it is a problem. You've either got to spawn the aircraft and then move it yourself, and what we can do is we can get the tug working. So let's do this. I'll do this while we're here so you can see this. So jetway moves away. And we'll get the tug connected, and we'll push the aircraft back to its actual correct positioning point and see what it looks like. But I think you'll see that this is a spawning problem where Asobo is not properly detecting the positions for the INIBUILDS scenery for when you put an aircraft there. So you either have to do something like this or use the slew mode, which I've not found really useful at all. Okay, parking brake off. Okay, stop there, and let's just go forward a touch. Stop. So let's have a look now. Parking brake on. So as you can see from this shot, we're pretty much right on that spot. And as a result, you can now see that that wing is clear of the second gate. Not by much, but it is clear, and it's not really going to be a problem. So once again, let's connect the Jetway and just check that it works again. So there you go, Jetway works perfectly. The problem here is the spawning position, where the sort of connection between Asobo and INIBUILDS doesn't quite work. It puts it, when you spawn the aircraft, it puts it in the slightly wrong position. Just before we go, let's have a look at a different stand. So here we are, I've now moved the aircraft to stand 26 on Terminal 2 here at LAX. Again, checking the ground markings, this time you can see we've spawned at the correct position. There's actually two positions for the A320 here, and he spawned at the earlier, or the furthermost one. So what I'm going to do is connect the tug first to get it out of the way. But as you can see, in this particular case, the aircraft has spawned pretty much in the correct position, and it looks like this Jetway will work and connect to the aircraft without any hindrance, even though, as you can see, the tug doesn't actually connect to the aircraft properly. The nose gear does go through the side of the tug slightly there. In a moment you'll see it jump. I mean, these are little things that possibly Asobo might deal with in the future. As I've said in other videos, it would be nice if the tug parked straight here to leave this area entirely clear. So anyway, the tug's connected. Let's put the Jetway across, see what happens. That's pretty perfect. Let's have a look closer from the other side slightly. So Jetway's nicely connected there, and there you can see the Jetway's perfectly, excellently connected. No problems with this one at all, and no wing issues or anything else. And as I said, interesting to see that this time the aircraft has spawned on the correct parking spot. So that was a Jetway test completed for you. It's going to be a bit of trial and error, but I think when you load or spawn your aircraft onto this airport to start a flight, you're going to have to be very careful or very mindful perhaps of where the aircraft's nose wheel is positioned with respect to the Jetways if you want to use them. I'm not sure why this anomaly occurs. It's clearly an issue between default Asobo and INIBUILDS modelling. So I don't think for the one moment there's anything wrong with INIBUILDS modelling. It's great. Bear in mind, obviously, I've disabled the Asobo default Los Angeles, which you really should do, and that possibly might be the issue. The simulation expects to see the default, and it parks the aircraft based on the default landscape, which doesn't quite marry up possibly with the INIBUILDS one. But I don't know, it's just my theory, it's not necessarily the correct one, but I just wanted to make you aware of these small anomalies for when you start your flight at this airport. So that was the Jetways for you, and I thought it important to show you those little anomalies, particularly with the aircraft spawning. Let's start the grand tour. Now this is a huge airport, Some of these videos have looked very closely at things that you've probably seen. I'm going to start with looking at the area that you pilots will need to look at. We're currently positioned just above runway 24 right, looking towards the southeast. Let's go across these runways and across the vegetation and just have a look at the ground layout, and as we enter the stand locations in the central area. So as you can see, there's a bit of juddering, mainly because I've got all the detail turned up and there is a lot of it. Now from what I can see, everything is as it should be. You've got this green beautiful texturing here which exists at the real airport, coming over 24 left there. Now I continue out, and here's the hotels that you often see. If you're sitting in the left side of the aircraft, the port side, you'll see this coming over the highway. I think it's Highway 405. You get all this view, and look at it, they've modelled it, it's beautifully done. Let's go back over the airport. Big car park here, as you can see. Here's the centre part of the LA, I think Sepulveda Boulevard, I think it is, that comes into the centre of the airport. There's the freeway below. Let's just tour the central point. And you can see building going on. Bits and pieces have been properly created. You can see the cars and everything starting to display there as I move. There's the theme building. It's a beautiful structure, nicely modelled and weathered, I might add. Here we're coming up to this iconic control tower. Let's just stop and have a look inside. So there it is from the outside. Again, beautifully modelled, weathering. A lovely cable system here, again, that exists on the real building. Let's pop inside. And as you can see, modelled inside. No people, but they've modelled the inside, which is nice. There's a quick view looking towards the south side, runways 25 left and right. So continuing the tour, as you see as we pass over the centre area, all of the gates, the ground cluttering is wonderful, lots of clutter. Most of it in a situation where it shouldn't affect you parking, which is great. The stand areas are clear, some lovely oil marks and stuff like that on there, and again you've got parallax here in some of the windows. It's really quite nice. The Tom Bradley terminal developed inside, we'll look at that in a minute, but everywhere else you've got parallax, which looks amazingly realistic, I have to say. Beautiful curves on the building. And again, as we come along to some of the other stands, the fuel farm area, and the whole thing's just beautifully modelled. As you can see, there are judders and bits and pieces here. I've got everything turned up, got an i9 processor, so I could probably turn things down a little bit, and I have done so before when I've tested this. And you can still see shed loads of detail with a slight improvement. Here, passing over the fuel farm, there's just so much that's been added here. The detail. And you can see the close-up to this hangar. Unbelievable. Just beautifully modelled. You've got the Delta and the Qantas hangars down here, plus the parking for other aircraft, VIP aircraft and so on. As I said, a little bit of juddering, but nothing serious. Good idea to do a clean-up with something like CCleaner and do a defrag before you launch the simulator, which will help. And here's the highways that you've got at the western end of the airport. As you can see, lots of clutter, lots of bits and pieces, and the groundwork looks really genuine, beautifully modelled. I'm going to go and have a look across the runway area here because I want to see if anything's taxiing up the runways. Hopefully not. So we've got a vehicle down there, look, heading in that direction. But again, you look at the ground markings, they're stunning, absolutely stunning, crystal clear. Right, those guys are going along the road, which is fine. Now in the daytime here, you can see the detail on the runways. And again, having flown in here many times, I can attest to the fact that this is all accurate as per the real world. Again, here you've got examples of the work that they've done away from the airport, but on the airport perimeter. I mean, look at this. The vegetation is also excellent. Nothing encroaching on the taxiways, and nothing I can see on the roads as either. One or two of these little spike pyramid things here, but this is default. These little spike things you see them from time to time, but it's not part of the INIBUILDS scenery. But again, this blends in really well. We'll continue the tour here. Absolutely incredible amount of detail, loads of ground clutter and beautiful markings on the stand. The apron markings are stunning. The oil marks, everything looks pretty realistic. Right there, I think that's a tunnel. Let's have a look. Well, I think it's supposed to be a tunnel, because they certainly don't go onto the runway. Yeah, it is. This is a photo ground. As you can see, you've got a photo ground here, photograph there. These are road signs, so this is a tunnel that goes under the airport, which is good. So nothing crosses the runway as far as I can see. You've even got an LAPD police car down here. I mean, how's that for realism? Now, one other point that somebody mentioned elsewhere, and I've known this for a while, I'm not sure if these are Gulfstreams. Gulfstream, the organisation, are hugely protective of their copyright, and it's probably the only organisation that absolutely will not allow a model of their aircraft in a simulation. People have attempted to create Gulfstream over the years, and they've received cease and desist letters from Gulfstream's own lawyers to say basically get rid of it, you know, we don't approve of it. So they're extremely protective of their copyright, really right over the top, to be honest, and you shouldn't, you probably won't see a model of a Gulfstream in a flight simulator, which is a real pity. So if these are Gulfstreams, and I'm not entirely certain that they are, it's an exception, rather unusual. So continuing the tour eastwards on these buildings at the edge of the airport, you know, just the modelling is wonderful, and the way it's all fits in. I mean, this is probably one of the most realistic representations of a major international airport. You've got these little issues here, but again, this is due to default. This is not an INIBUILDS issue. But the modelling is beautiful, even right down to this building here, look. The detail is incredible. It's really nice. So we're coming across runway 25 left and right there. You can see the approach options here. And we're going to cross back over to the airport centre. As you can see, various hangars belonging to various airlines, loads of ground clutter, such a beautiful scene. And here you've got the cluster of hotels that you would see when you come into land at 25 right or 24 left. 24 right, sorry. So let's go down to the road level almost and have a look at the approach to the airport, because that's been modelled too. And here we can see West Century Boulevard that actually leads into World Way into the airport. And it's yes, it's modelled with palm trees, and the real world is palm trees as well. And here you can see, look, we've got the hotels. Stunning, absolutely stunning. And I bet this looks great in the evening. Really is wonderful. There's the famous Klax sign, and you've got these that light up during the darkness hours, and we'll have a look at them later. There's a freeway that goes underneath, and here you've got signage. Okay, a little bit of stuttering going on, maybe because there's loads of detail, and as I've said, I've turned the detail, everything right up to ultra, so that you get to see what this airport's made of, essentially what it's capable of. Just wonderful. Let's just look at the landside part of the terminal approach. As you can see, road modelling is brilliant, and we get down low. I mean, that's lovely, really, really nicely modelled. Probably the only criticism I have here is there's no people. But with the amount of detail that already exists at this airport, you know, I can understand where savings have been made, as it were, and I have no problem with that at all. Beautiful. All of the airlines, as you can see, this is Worldway, all properly modelled. Let's go down to the lower level. Okay, not so detailed, but that's not really a problem. Not really a problem at all. Here's an example of more structural work going on. As you see, the detail is incredible. Really, how they've done this, absolutely incredible. So let's just go across here and pop down to stand level. Have a look at the apron here on one of the terminal points. I mean, look at the building detail. It's amazing. So, a quick look here at the apron and the cul-de-sac. Beautifully weathered ground textures with lots of detail, lots of scuffing, tyre marks, oil, you name it, they've got it. And again, lots of stuff close up. Very nice indeed. Detail's really nice, especially even the signage down here. Look, I mean, this is a huge project, and they've done a phenomenal job. The jetways, as you can see, are really nicely detailed here, right down to the doors, and you've got the sign on top which denotes the stand number. Lots of baggage dollies and things. And just a quick look, looking south there, you can see the variety of various vehicles going along. Right, is that one going into the runway there? Yeah, okay, just got a vehicle across the runway. Many of you who watch my videos will know my feelings on vehicles going onto runways. They shouldn't, basically. I really would not like to be coming in on or doing a takeoff run here. I did actually doing a landing. This is 25 right. Coming in on here and doing a long landing in a heavy jet, suddenly find this thing crossing in front of me. Vehicles should really be left to taxiways and apron areas and not runways, and I know it can be that can be modelled that way because other developers have done it. So that's probably my only problem here, but at least this vehicle is crossing the runway and not actually going down it, so I'm happy with that, I guess. While we're here, let's look at some signage. See, there's another one about to cross the runway. So we're only talking a couple of seconds, I guess. So here we got signage here, look, just examples of some of the signage. They're beautifully done, beautifully modelled. The ground markings are excellent. Runway end identifier lights are really good. Let's cross over to 25 left. Just see where this truck goes. So I would suspect he's going to cross the runway. Yep, there he goes. A bit of a delay, which is quite nice, I guess. But as you can see, runway taxiway signage is beautiful. The modelling is just as good as the main buildings. As you can see, all the way down there looks absolutely stunning. Let's have a look at the Tom Bradley terminal interior and exterior. So we start by crossing into the apron on the eastern side of the terminal, and here you can see we passed over it before, but the roof modelling is excellent. And again, stands, clutter, signage, oil, all looks really remarkable. So here on stand 157 we're looking in from the outside, and you can see there's internal modelling. And here we are inside looking at some of the carpeting and seating, which is really nice, and you've got arrivals board there. Okay, as we get up close it's not very crisp and clear, but that's really not a problem. So just a view down one end for you. I mean, it looks really nice. There you've got the escalator or moving walkway, overhead signage. Let's try and move along here without hopefully moving too fast. So here we go, and here's the first moving walkway I've seen. Okay, it doesn't move, but it's got the proper grooved strip walkway pads that you see when you walk along here. Now this is really nice. The only problem here is there are no people. The only thing that would make this come alive would be people. But here you've got some of the lounges belonging to the different airlines. Well, it just looks lovely. It looks really nice. Interior modelling looks fantastic here. Let's just go up to the upper level. This is very nice. Again, you've got the escalator, and look, they've even done work on the internal signs with the right colours. And as we get close, they're still pretty good. More elevators over there, or lifts as we call them in the UK. Let's just have a quick whiz down here. As you can see, it's been beautifully modelled. You can see out of the roof, which is really nice. Let's hop downstairs to the other side. And you've got the same attention to detail down here, but even more so. As I've said, realistic for me, the only thing it's lacking is people. But obviously they want to keep the frame rate down and the juddering down, I guess. But the detail here is beautiful. Can't argue with it. And the other thing I like is you get towards these signs here, look. I'll say they're not signs, they're actually, you know, they're giving the impression that there's something going on in here. And they're really quite well done. The resolution's high enough to make the effect work pretty well. I mean, it's just lovely. As you can see, there's a good view there, showing you the interior part of the terminal, gates and everything, and stairwells, escalators, little restaurant here. It's just stunning, absolutely stunning. And they've modelled everything. We just continue the run through here. I mean, it looks wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. The modelling is top notch. So I'm going to come out through the end here and get back to sort of the ramp. You've even got the LAX buses there, all the right colours. It's just amazing. And looking back at the building, it's just stunning. No other word for it. Done an amazing job here. It's really, really nice. Okay, so we've had a good look round during the day, and you can just see how realistic this place is. There's an awful lot of work gone into it, even on the edges of the environment of the airfield completely. You know, the hotels have been done within the airport terminal here and outside here. It all looks really fantastic. So let's turn the light down to dusk and have a look at the lighting and see the subtleness of that. Okay, 6:30 in the evening local time. It's October 2022, and we are looking southeast. Here you've got the Tom Bradley terminal here, and then the piers and the other terminals going off it. There's the control tower and the theme building, and here you've got the entrance to the airport. As you can see, lighting is really nicely done. It's very subtle on some of the buildings. It's just that another of these airports that really comes to life in the darkness hours. Nice to see many of the vehicles with lights, and here you've got green centerline taxiway lighting as well, which the airport does have. I know I've been there, and it's well defined all over the place. So here we are looking at the thresholds of 2.4 and 2.4 left and right, and as you can see, centerline lighting, taxiway lighting, signage, everything is in really good order, including the blue airfield edge lights, so you should have no problem taxiing around here. And looking towards the southwest, again, lots of subtle lighting all over the place, so it's just beautiful. This is a stunning airport. Can't wait to fly in here, and to be honest, I can completely understand why some of the other reviewers are getting videos up flying into here straight away. It's a stunning airport. Let's look a little closer at some of the apron areas. So this is the Midfield satellite concourse, and as you can see, there's been development done inside, but the stands themselves are well lit. The building's nicely lit. There's enough lighting here. Yep, there's enough lighting here for you to park without any problems at all. Let's have a quick look inside this satellite. And there you go, yet another stunning interior with signage, beautifully done, stairwells. Well, the whole thing is just incredible. We'll take a quick whiz along here. It really is wonderful. Modelling every bit as good as the Tom Bradley terminal. Just amazing. So here we are passing on the outside western end of that satellite. Just have a look at some of the stands and the lighting, and as you can see, it's great. Happy to say it's not an Asobo globe in existence. Everything's lit by the proper light source. Just wonderful. Very nice. So again, we cut across the eastern side of that building, across the taxiway to the Tom Bradley terminal, which you can see in front of us. And as we get closer, the lighting improves. As you can see, it's really subtle. I really like this sort of drop-down lighting here. Okay, we're getting stutters, but it's to be expected with the amount of detail that we've got, and as I said, I've got everything turned up so that I can show you that detail. Let's pop inside the building. So here's the inside with at dusk with all the lighting on. Really impressive. There's a little restaurant. You can't fault it, it's wonderful. So let's have a look at the central area going towards the control tower and the theme building from landside within the complex. Here's the building stuff that's been going on that we looked at earlier. Lovely cranes. Okay, one or two Asobo globes, but I'm not going to worry about that really here. So here's the terminal where they've lit the outside to give the impression that the interior's occupied, as it were. But very nice. The roads are nice there. Good to see some buses, taxis, yellow cab down there, look. Okay, as I said, we're getting quite a bit of juddering, mainly because of the detail here. And as I said, I've got it all turned up so you can see, so I apologise for the juddering, but you get to see just the level of detail, the amount of detail that's gone into this. Here you've got the various entry points to different airlines, all marked. There's a footbridge from the car park. And as you can see, the roads and the signs are nicely lit. There aren't too many globes at all. Actually, most of this is done with internal lighting. And this is lovely. Look at that. That building's lit in such a way that it looks as though stuff's going on inside. And here you've got the entrance into the airport. I think, as I said, I think it's Sepulveda Boulevard. The various hotels there, the famous Klax sign. To the right there you've got some American Airlines models which are correct. And this is lovely, really lovely the way this has been done. Get a bit closer to some of these buildings and you can see there's some parallax work that's been done to give you the illusion of things going on inside, which I think is incredible. Love the palm trees. I mean, that building is wonderful. Okay, this road isn't lit. There's one or two signs here that can't really be seen because there's no lighting. But, you know, we can't have everything. They've done such an incredible job. Particularly on these buildings here, look. It's just lovely. So there we are looking to the west. You've got runway 24 right and left on the right hand side there with the central area in the middle. Let's turn it down to night time now. Okay, 10 PM local time, and as you can see we're well and truly darkness here. But the worst, the thing that grabs me straight away is the lighting is as good as they've said. It's wonderful, particularly the airfield lighting itself, the runways, taxiways, exits, the blue airfield edge lights. All of this is beautifully defined, even from this distance. And here, as I said, you've got airfield lighting with sequence flashing lights on all of the runways. Absolutely incredible. So a quick tour back towards the central area here at night time, and you can see the lighting is just stunning. Here we are going back in towards the airport. There's the freeway, it goes underneath. There's the theme building coming up and the control tower, and the lighting in the tower has also come up. Let's have a look. Yep, there you can see it was in the tower. So here's the upper end of the Tom Bradley International Terminal. And here we are looking at it from the outside, and you can see the lighting inside the terminal is wonderful. It's a beautiful view through the windows, and again the stands and the apron areas are beautifully lit. It's just lovely. It's really impressive. And we're going a little further west. Some stunning lighting. There's the satellite that had the internal development, and here's a good example. Even the fuel farmers have some lighting, which is wonderful. So we're going down towards the threshold of 06 left and right now, passing over various buildings. There's a hangar and that's lit inside, which is another plus. So coming along now on the taxiway towards the threshold of 06 right. Signage looks good. The lighting is wonderful. And there's the main road by the south, by the western part of the airport. And as you can see, entrance signage is good. And they've got all this, all the things, that the lighting that leads you into the runway. And there's a look back all the way down 6 right towards the eastern end. And another high level shot there showing you the central area, the subtle lighting, and the runways on the south side all nicely lit. Okay, 3:20 in the afternoon local time, and this is the view that I would get if I was coming into land on Speedbird 283, which gets in at around about 3:20 in the afternoon when it's operating, certainly during the summer as far as I know. But if I was above it in a helicopter watching that aircraft coming in, this is the view I would get. And time to wrap up this review. What do I think? This is probably one of the best airports in terms of modelling that I've seen to date. There are some really this stuff is right up there with FLYTAMPA, and in some places it exceeds their abilities. It's one of the best American airports I've seen, probably the best to date. The modelling, the quality of modelling is excellent. There really is no other word for it. The level of detail that's gone into this and the amount of work that's gone into it is absolutely incredible. It's a sublime piece of work. Everything down to the hotel buildings, the lighting on those buildings, the signage on and off the airport, the way the airport fits within the default boundary. It's just absolutely stunning, and it's beautiful by day, it's beautiful by night. There really is hardly anything wrong with this airport. The only issue I've seen, I really have only 2 issues that I would like to highlight. One is the vehicles crossing the runway. Although I have to say, crossing the runway really is not as bad as travelling down the runway, which some airports do. But I'm prepared to overlook that because of this detail. The other anomaly is that I'm questioning the problem with the jetways or the default parking. When you spawn an aircraft from the flight simulator menu onto a stand at an airport, I generally expect it to spawn at the right point or the right place, and as I've shown in the Jetway Test, you have to really be careful when you do this, because you'll either have to move the aircraft to avoid any wing collision, or at least to be able to get the jetway to work, because it doesn't exactly spawn on the right place. I don't know if it's an A320 issue. I don't know if it's an issue of a sort of like a battle between Asobo's ground and INIBUILDS ground. Don't really know what the answer to that is, but I highlight it just so that you, the pilot, when you start here, are aware of it, and you can take steps to move it, assuming you want to use the whole thing. Obviously now you've got GSX Pro out, a lot of people will be wanting to use that, and if the aircraft isn't positioned in the right place, that could be a real problem. So those are the only 2 real things that I would highlight. This is a stunning, absolutely stunning airport with an amazing amount of detail. It's clearly INIBUILDS' best work, and for me it puts the company right up there with the likes of FlyTampa and Aerosoft. This sort of work is brilliant. And £19.99 including VAT. You know, it's when actually no, it's £19.99 plus VAT. That's a really good price for the amount of work that's gone into this. As you can see, I've got an i9 processor. An i9 is a 9900K processor, so it's quite a powerful one. 32 gigs of memory, and I've got the GeForce RTX 2080 card, and it all copes pretty well. There are some stutters and bits and pieces, but as I've said, I've got everything turned up to ultra so you can see the level of detail and the work that's gone into this. I would venture to suggest you turn the detail down, a few things down a little bit, and you'll still see most of what's in this product, and hope the stutters will improve. but it's eminently flyable as an airport. It's beautifully done. I've got no hesitation at all in recommending it. It's absolutely fantastic, and the price is excellent. So my advice to you, if you are interested in flying in the States, go and get it. It's an amazing airport. So to wrap this up, Los Angeles International Airport then, Kilo Lima Alpha X-Ray, payware scenery by INIBUILDS. This is version 1.01. They released an update literally a day or two ago, and it's for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. No information I can find about whether it's coming out for Xbox. Download is 2.5 gigabytes, installs at 5.7 gigabytes, and you should make sure that you disable the default Asobo Los Angeles Airport scenery in the Content Manager to enable this to run pretty flawlessly. Prices, okay, UK £19.99, €22.93 or $22.89 US. The US and Euro prices are estimates and don't include VAT or tax, but there are, and it's available from both INIBUILDS and SimMarket. INIBUILDS is slightly cheaper. I would venture to suggest there's not an awful lot of difference when you add the tax, but I think INIBUILDS is a little bit cheaper. And arguably, if you bought it from their website using their manager software, updates you'll get them quicker than you probably would from SimMarket. There's a massive list of features, a massive amount of work that's gone into this, and I think it's fantastic. I'm happy to hear your comments. I'm going to fly into here, obviously, like so many others are going to do, and there are some videos available on YouTube where others have done that, and yeah, wholeheartedly encourage you to watch them if you're on the fence about this product. But it's stunning, absolutely wonderful. So wrapping up another review, this is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, saying thank you very much for joining me. Thank you also to INIBUILDS very kindly for sending me the copy for review. They sent it to me for review. I didn't buy it or pay for it, although the comments and thoughts that I've expressed in this video are of course my own and not in any way influenced by anybody else. But thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry if it's been a bit long, but there is so much to cover, and I've tried to look at things in a way that possibly some of the other viewers haven't. So you guys take care, have a great weekend. Hopefully I'm going to be able to bring the Pisa review out as well this week, but I really want to do some flying at the weekend, so hopefully we'll see what happens. Thanks very much. You guys take care. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye for now.